I'm sorry it's been so long since my last video. I've accomplished a lot of things over the past couple of months, and I'm very excited to show you what I've been working on. In my previous video, I explained that in order to fully populate the school, I only needed to add one more club, the Light Music Club. My plans for this club were pretty elaborate and required a lot of 3D models, animations, music, and voiced lines that I didn't already have. While I was waiting for these assets to be created, I decided to work on other features that I've been planning for a long time. Some of these features were very minor, like making all of the club leaders have a meeting once a week, but other features were more significant. If you've been following the game's development for a long time, you've probably noticed an inactive dialogue option when speaking to club leaders. This is one of the features I've been working on recently. As of now, if you speak to the leader of the martial arts club, you can use this option to practice the delinquent combat minigame without actually having to pick a fight with the delinquents. The idea is that this dialogue option would be different for every club. For some clubs, it might be a tutorial or a practice mode for one of the game's mechanics. But for other clubs, it might be a minigame that grants you some sort of benefit. I've never spoken about this feature before because I'm not fully committed to the idea of adding it to the game. I want this feature to be included in the game's demo because it's part of my vision for the game. But promising a minigame for every club in school could add a lot of unnecessary work, so it's a feature I'm willing to drop. I also added something else that most people probably never would have predicted. It's a magical girl shoot-'em-up minigame. You're probably wondering why I chose to put something like this into the game. Allow me to explain. Even though Yandere Simulator takes place in a relatively small environment, I want the player to feel as though there is an actual world outside of what you can immediately see. To accomplish this, I created evidence for the existence of an anime franchise in Yandere Sim's world, Magical Girl, Pretty Miyuki. You can find Miyuki posters and Miyuki figurines. The gaming club is playing a Miyuki game on their phones. The TV screen in the gaming club is displaying the Miyuki anime, and you can even listen to characters have conversations about
Magical Girl, Pretty Miyuki!
Just like the posters, the figurines, and everything else, the Miyuki minigame is supposed to convince the player that Yandere Simulator has a world beyond what you can see while playing the game. There's also another reason why I wanted to include a shoot-'em-up minigame in Yandere Sim. When I released the first official demo of the game, I wanted to demonstrate more than just the basic core gameplay. I want the demo to represent the type of content I'm interested in, and the type of content I want to include in my games. I want people to get an idea of what they can expect from a Yandere dev game. Most of my favorite games had pointless little minigames that served absolutely no purpose whatsoever towards the story and offered no benefits or bonuses to the player. But they were still a lot of fun to mess around with. That's the sort of thing I absolutely love to see in games, which is why I wanted to include something similar in Yandere Sim. I want anyone playing the game's demo to understand what type of developer I am, what I love about video games, and what type of fun bonus content I plan to put in my games. Anyway, this video is supposed to be about the Light Music Club and the Guidance Counselor, so let's talk about that instead. The Light Music Club has several traits that other students don't have. They walk around school with musical instruments, and their daily routine involves finding quiet places where they can play their instruments without bothering anyone. This effectively turns them into living security cameras that I can place in secluded locations so that it isn't too easy for the player to eliminate victims without a witness being present. Later in the day, the Light Music Club will gather in their clubroom to practice together. A lot of work went into creating this little performance, so I hope you enjoy watching it. However, the star attraction of the Light Music Club is something else entirely. The club is a band, and if you join the club, you're joining the band. As a member of the band, you are able to perform a song once per day. This comes in the form of a rhythm minigame, where the player has to tap buttons in sync with the music. If you perform well, students will be drawn to the sound of your music and will watch you play. At the end of the song, your performance will be judged. If you performed well, you will gain reputation points. As of now, a flawless performance is the fastest way to gain positive reputation. I was originally imagining this minigame with 3D visuals, like Guitar Hero or Rock Band. However, implementing something that elaborate would have taken a lot more time and assets, so I decided to give the minigame 2D visuals instead. Look at how cute! While waiting for the 3D animations and 2D artwork that I needed in order to implement the Light Music Club, I worked on minor features like the club leader meeting, the sparring feature, and the top-down shoot-'em-up. But after I ran out of minor features to work on, I decided to work on the next major feature, the Guidance Counselor. Back in 2015, when Yandere Simulator was first gaining popularity, I wanted to quickly destroy the notion that it was a meme game and establish that I was trying to develop a genuine stealth game. To make sure that the game wouldn't be associated with memes like "Senpai notice me," and to discourage players from being careless in front of Senpai, I programmed Senpai to give you an instant game over if he sees you doing anything dangerous or psychotic. Likewise, I programmed the teachers to instantly expel you from school for misbehaving. However, being expelled instantaneously was never the intended game design. From the beginning, I always wanted the player to have a chance to explain their actions and get out of trouble. This is what the Guidance Counselor is all about. As of now, when the player is spotted misbehaving, they are no longer instantly expelled. Instead, they are sent to the Guidance Counselor. Here in the Guidance Counselor's office, the player is asked to explain their recent behavior. The player is presented with several options. Some of these options will get you out of trouble, and others will only make matters worse. The counselor has a pretty complex AI. She remembers what excuses you have already used in the past. And if you try to use the same excuse twice, she will become angry with you.
How stupid do you think I am? I won't fall for the same excuse twice in a row. It looks like we're not going to get anywhere since you clearly aren't interested in having a productive conversation. I'm sending you home for the rest of the day. You are hereby dismissed.
Depending on your answer, the counselor will either let you go free with no punishment or suspend you from school. If you screw up too many times, eventually she will expel you, which is a game over. One of the dialogue options is unavailable at the beginning of the game and needs to be unlocked before you can use it. I don't want to reveal how to unlock it in this video, because I want to watch YouTubers play the game and see if they can figure it out. I don't want to say too much about how the Guidance Counselor works, because learning how to manipulate her will give the player a great deal of power. It's something you should have to figure out for yourself. However, I will say that the Guidance Counselor has around 80 voiced lines for all the various circumstances that can occur during your time in her office. Hey, check this out. I added a bucket of red paint to the art club. You can use this bucket to cover yourself in red paint to create the appearance of being splattered with blood. This allows you to have a blood-stained appearance without actually taking anyone's life. But why would you ever intentionally want to create the impression that you are covered in blood? It has to do with the counselor. I'll look forward to seeing if anyone can figure out how to use the red paint to their advantage. Over the past year, I've worked almost exclusively on core gameplay mechanics. The student council, the bullies, the phone addicts, the low reputation game over, the delinquents, the sleuths, and populating all of the clubs. It was very refreshing to work on just for fun features, like the shoot 'em up minigame and the rhythm minigame, even if it was only for a short period of time. But now, I'm going to return my focus to core mechanics. Over the past 4.5 years, I've made a lot of progress towards completing every item on this huge checklist, and now only a few things remain before I reach the final item, Osana. I'm not sure what order I'll do these things in, but eventually every item on the checklist will get done. That's all I have to say for now. Thank you for following the development of Yandere Simulator.